My name's Tony Parker, fighting out of Vision out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I see it on the treadmill. I see it when I'm sparring against somebody. I see it at the house. I've ate it, I've dreamed it a long time. Don't let my family down. Don't let my team down. And hurt them as quick as possible, and then become friends afterwards. Like I said when I was leaving, I'm going to come back with a big win. Cincinnati, Ohio, representing.
Here he comes out of the blue corner, Tony Parker. He is weighing in at 185, obviously a middleweight, a record of 11-11. He turned pro in 2006, and he is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Jackson.
Well, Tony Parker is a teammate of Brandon Kaiser, who opened up this show with what could be considered a very strong come-from-behind victory against the very game John Vineyard. But Tony Parker, nearly a 10-year veteran of being a professional mixed martial arts fighter. This guy has fought some of the toughest guys on the East Coast. And despite all of that, he still considers himself a wrestler. So we're going to be looking for big takedowns, ground and pound, looking for a submission or a TKO on the ground. That's what he said. Now, Tony Parker's had some speed bumps in his career. You know, he's coming in at 10-11 or 11-11, depending on who you ask. But, you know, Lamont Lister is a perfect fight for him. These guys have been around for about the same amount of time, fighting the same guys, and for whatever reason, haven't met in the cage. Tonight, that ends Tony Parker versus Lamont Lister.
And we asked Tony Parker in the back, you know, you've heard of Lamont Lister. How come you guys haven't seen each other in the past? I really don't know, is what he said.
You know, they've just been around the circuit for so long, and there's just so many guys trying to make a name for themselves, especially at this middleweight division.
All right, let's take a look at Lamont Lister.
Lamont Lister, home state is PA. I'm fighting out of North Philadelphia. I don't know anything about him. I just know his name, Tony Parker. That's pretty much it. His strength, he looked like he had a pretty solid left hand, straight left. That was all I got from that. I always train the way I'm going to train, regardless of whoever the opponent is. It's just that he's next. I always want to knock out whoever I'm fighting. I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting me, and if you don't know me, you will know me in a couple minutes.
Here he comes out of the red corner, and we got Lamont Lister fighting out of Philadelphia. He's been a cop for some time now, Jackson, as far as, you know, his career occupation. Can you tell us a little bit of what you know about Lamont Lister?
Well, Lamont Lister is synonymous with Philadelphia mixed martial arts. One of the original professional fighters out of Philly, and he's just been sort of hanging out, fighting throughout the years. Never really got to that next level, that UFC or you know, international level of fighting, but a dangerous fighter nonetheless. He's made some changes in his camp. He's been training with the Martinez brothers out of Martinez BJJ, always looking to add some new tricks to his game. So I'd like to see some better ground skills and a more diligent and technical approach to the fight.
Last GPG, we highlighted one of the Martinez brother, Will Martinez, a phenomenal legend of the sport, and that's exactly who is in Lamont Lister's corner.
Lamont Lister, the Philly badass. You know, he's fought who's who of guys on the East Coast, but so has Tony Parker. Now, an interesting sort of fact about this fight is that Tony Parker's coming out southpaw. Lamont Lister is going to come out orthodox, as far as I know, and they're going to be throwing big bombs.
All right, take us through the tail of the tape, Jackson.
Well, here we go. 10-11 versus 6-12. I mean, nearly 40 professional fights between the two of these guys. Crafty veterans. But, you know, I think Tony Parker just has the edge in experience, and that wrestling pedigree is going to play into this fight very much.
All right, let's make it official with our announcer, Stephen Peacock.
And now for our main event of the evening in the 185-pound weight class. This event is brought to you by Comcast Sportsnet, delivering quality and award-winning sports news, analysis, and live event and game coverage. And don't forget about the men and women who are bringing this video and this production to TV, GFL at GoFightLive.tv, the premier online destination for live MMA, boxing, and other competitive combat sports. And now, to my right, I have a 31-year-old who stands at 6 feet tall and has an 11-11 professional MMA record, representing Vision MMA of Cincinnati, Ohio. In the blue corner, Tony Hot and Ready Parker. And now, to my left, I have a 36-year-old who stands at 6'2" and has an 8-12 professional MMA record, representing Martinez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu of Philadelphia. In the red corner to my left, Lamont Philly Badass Lister.
All right, let's keep this fight clean. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my command. You understand? Let's touch gloves.
Both fighters touch gloves, and we are getting ready for our main event of the evening. Tony Parker versus Lamont the Philly Badass Lister. Lister in the purple and white, and we have Tony Parker in the solid white.
You know, both these guys, not one to feel their opponents out and sort of jab at them from the outside, both looking to step in and cause some damage. But again, Lamont Lister, a veteran of this sport, a very notable professional in the area, but he's just never had the grappling skills to get to that next level.
Now, talking to Tony Parker in the back, and we asked for his prediction. He said submission in the first round. We asked him if he wanted to Babe Ruth it, call a shot, and he said he's predicting a 2.0 submission. Jackson, tell us what that is.
Well, without getting too technical, basically you tie up the arm with something called a kimura, and then you attack the head with your legs with something called a head scissor. So it's kind of like a two-part submission, and something that he said he made up in practice without knowing any better. And a couple years later, well, here we go. It looks like he's about to set it up. He's getting himself into position here. But he said that Carlos Gracie himself did a seminar at his school and demonstrated the 2.0. So if that doesn't legitimize your special technique, I don't know what does.
That kind of has to be a bummer for him to think that he, made the submission move up and then, no, sorry, dude, you got a Gracie coming in here, and yeah, it's been around for a while.
Well, there's sort of a saying, like, there's nothing new in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's just everything old is new again. Yeah. And so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art that's been popularized in the last maybe 20 years, but it is nearly 100 years old. Here, Tony Parker's looking to lock up that Kimura. He's setting it up. Here it goes. Oh, and just a little loose with those legs. But it was right there. It was within his reach. All he had to do was just reach up and grab it with his legs. Just a shame. I really wanted to see that come to fruition for him.
Tony Parker easily taking control of this round thus far against Lamont Lister. But Lamont Lister doesn't look in any immediate danger at the same token.
Well, Tony Parker is doing a good job of creating pressure and position on top, but he's not doing any damage, so there's no impetus right now for Lamont Lister to have to do anything. So he looks cool and collected, but make no mistake, he has very much been losing this fight for the past 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Now, what does Lister have to do? Oh, this is not a good position in the least. What does Lister have to do from here?
Well, I can tell you what he has to not do, which is sit on his keister and hug Tony Parker's midsection, because he's not doing anything. No. Whatever he's trying to do, it's not working. He needs to create some space, crawl up the cage, get back to his feet, and do what he does best, which is just knock people out with his heavy hands.
Now, some of the fans, they might just judge a book by its cover. Lamont Lister's a very solid dude. Tony Parker, not as much, but that really doesn't matter in the fight games.
You see that a lot. There's sort of that stereotypical roided up, shredded dude, but they can't fight at all, because it's not about how you look, it's about how you perform. And Tony Parker, being in the game for 10 years, he knows the in and outs of mixed martial arts. He knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to diet and training. So if he just happens to walk in the cage a little heavy, at least heavy looking, that's his prerogative. But his job right now is to put Lamont Lister away, and he's well on the way to doing that.
And like you were talking about with the guys that are roided up, just shredded, and now they have all that muscle to support. And not only that, but with the lactic acid building up, you would think it's going to take its toll on you sooner than later.
Well, there's a great example of Mariusz Pudzianowski, who is the world's strongest man, a Polish monster. Couldn't last more than a minute in the MMA cage, which is a great thing to see. Sort of fulfilled a lot of people's questions as to whether guys like Mariusz or some of the strongmen in the world could fight. But he did win, but he turned purple. He's just so big. But Tony Parker is just a very efficiently trained athlete. He's moving really well, doing everything he needs to do and using his weight properly. He's not using a lot of energy.
Well, Lamont Lister has to improve position because it's just not doing much. It's a clear coasting around for Tony Parker. And I hope to see more of this because Tony's looking good right now.
He's looking good, but, I want him to switch gears. I want to see a little bit more ground and pound. Like, he's doing a very good job of controlling the fight. Why not look to end it? I think he's a little too position heavy right now. And, as we know, round start on the feet, that's just going to give Lamont Lister another opportunity to change the momentum.
Let's talk about Lister's ground game for a moment. Does he have a decent, solid enough ground game to where Tony Parker right now has to be living in a little bit of fear from Lamont Lister finishing from the bottom?
The short answer is no. I mean, you can just see it. It's hard to see if you're an untrained person, but Lamont's doing nothing with his guard to control. He's just sort of flailing around on his back, kind of like a turtle hold on to his back. Unable to get up. Good first round for both guys in the sense that they're both game and, look to be in good shape, but total one-sided victory.
All right, let's check out our replay, Jackson. Run us through it, please.
Good. In the beginning of the end for round one for Lamont Lister, big takedown from Tony Parker. Getting into position here. Now you can see him setting up the arm lock. That's an Americana right there. Failed on the 2.0, but had at one point Lamont Lister against the cage into a full mount. Wasn't able to capitalize with his strikes, but on the other side, Lamont Lister here, unable to do anything with his guard, effective, and sort of just coasting through on his back to a very decisive loss in that round.
Like you said, Tony Parker didn't get the submission that he wanted and what he predicted. That's been a kind of a thing for tonight. People have been making their predictions, but really nothing's come to fruition.
Well, there's so many variables in these mixed martial arts fights. It's kind of like, finding a needle in a haystack when it comes to predicting a mixed martial arts fight. But, this is a great opportunity for Lamont Lister to make something happen on his feet. Now, head coach Will Martinez of Martinez BJJ giving some what seems to be wise advice to Lamont Lister. Probably tell him, stay on the feet, circle, don't get too close, and it's like round one all over again.
And round two starts, immediately Tony Parker switches levels and gets the takedown. You got Lamont Lister in the purple and white and Tony Parker in the solid white. Tony Parker being in side mount right now.
This is a cool attempt right here. Tony Parker looks to be attempting what we call a north-south choke, but not able to get that parallel angle to his opponent. Settles for a knee to his midsection.
Inside control. He's looking for the north-south again and looking to lock it up.
He has sort of like a hybrid north-south or Darce choke right now. And that's it.
That is it. Gets the submission stoppage. He didn't get it in the first round like he wanted to, but nonetheless, he got it done.
Tony Parker, a beautiful Darce choke from side control. You got to be careful about anytime you reach off your body and you start to extend your elbow away from your midsection, you are opening yourself up to be submitted. It's basic Jiu-Jitsu 101. Unfortunately for Lamont, he never got that memo, taking the loss in the second round here to Tony Parker.
I couldn't into the body game, sir.
Woo! Stephen Peacock.
Will the fighters come to the center of the cage? This bout is stopped at 0 minutes and 43 seconds of the second round. The winner by submission by way of north-south choke came out of the blue corner, Thomas Parker.
All right, let's throw it up to our ring announcer, Bob Maloney. Bob?
All right, I'm here with Tony Parker. Tony, your takedowns were excellent in the first round. Pretty much dominated that round, came out. Second round, you executed the same thing and then finished off the choke. Tell everybody here out here at Global Proving Ground 20 how you're feeling about the victory.
I'm feeling pretty good. I felt confident about the fight. The little bit of film I watched at him, that lead leg was real heavy. And me wrestling Division I in college, you know, it was pretty well taken care of. I knew that that's what I was going to do. I was trying to throw some haymakers, but when I heard the video and he knew my left hand was heavy, I aborted that game plan.
Well, you executed that game plan you're talking about very well. Congratulations coming to GPG 20 with your victory. Good job. We look at
amazing night of fights with Tony Parker winning the main event of the night over Lamont Lister. We had Desmond M80 Moore, who moved on to 4-0 as a pro. It was a great night of fights, Jackson. Let's talk about real quick.
You know, one of my favorite fights tonight was Brandon Kaiser versus John Vineyard. Just sort of the silent assassin, Brandon Kaiser, shutting up that bully in John Vineyard. Robert Madrid, a huge test for Des Moore, but wasn't enough to take him out. Des Moore improving to 4-0, and Tony Parker